This week's Piltch Point with Avram Piltch is proudly powered by PureVPN. The best way to protect your privacy online is with PureVPN. You can hide your online activities, say goodbye to regional restrictions, and improve your streaming quality. Plus, it's available for almost all of your devices. You can get a special price and a 31-day money-back guarantee right now by going to pilchpoint.live/PureVPN. To piggyback on our last topic, the future of PCs is not bleak because it's not ARM, and you can build your own computer, which is a big part of Avram's life. and there's
it is indeed.
There's an updated list of PCs.
So this is a great time to build a PC. Just don't try to do it with ARM because you can't anyway. But this is a great time to build a PC if you're not planning to buy obviously in terms of the high end, we've just seen the Ryzen 7000 chips come out. We're about to see Intel Raptor Lake come out. And those are going to be somewhat expensive, especially AMD ones are really expensive because the motherboards are really expensive. But if you're okay with, but we maintain a list of the best PC builds and on Tom's Hardware, and our list we're primarily looking at like what is a good value for you right now. And what's a good value for you right now is to use Intel 12th gen core primarily, and possibly some Intel and possibly a couple of AMD 5000 series, but mostly 12th gen core. So what can you build? Let me share my screen here, and we'll take a look at an article we have where I actually have laid out the different builds that you can have. So if you look here, you can build a gaming PC for less than $500. And you can build it with discrete graphics. The key here is you want to go with the Intel Core i3 12100F, which, by the way, is not going to be replaced anytime soon because when the new 13th gen comes out, they're the Core i3 right away. So for that, you're going to need an H610 motherboard chipset. We are going to keep it under $500. We had to cut this to a motherboard that doesn't support M2 SSDs. So if you could spend $10 more, you could get a motherboard that did support better SSDs. But we're at a price point. Similarly, if you want to get a discrete GPU that will fit in this price range, you will need either an AMD RX 6400 GPU or the hard to get, usually out of stock, Intel Arc A380 GPU, which actually is really quite good for the price, and I think you can get that for about $130 when it's in stock. You can still, at this price, go for 16 gigs of RAM, and you can get a 500 gig SSD, although if you buy the motherboard that we bought, you'll have to get a SATA one, which will be about $46. And then, you're going to have to economize. If you want it to be under $500, you have to and the power supply a little bit. So we found a mint green case from a DIY PC that has tempered glass, so not that bad for $41. But a few dollars over $500, you can do a bit better on these components, particularly the graphics card. Another $20 to $30 gets you a Radeon 65 XT, which is much faster, much better for 1080p gaming. But still, with a 6400, you'll be able to play 1080p games at least at medium settings, and ultra settings close to playable. Now, if you jump up to $1,000 bill, then you have really something nice. So you can go for is either, let's say AMD, is a Core i5 12400F, which is a pretty powerful processor, which you can get for about $193. Again, you can get you can get your motherboard for less than $100, and then you can jump up to either a Radeon 6700 XT or a 3060 Ti graphics card. The 6700 XT, it actually is quite a bit faster, and a bit faster and a better deal. In AMD in general with the graphics cards, right, is a better deal, unless you want to do ray tracing, because the ray tracing performance of NVIDIA is still a lot better. But if you don't care about ray tracing, you get a lot more frames per second. AMD. Again, we can go for 16 gigabytes, for a terabyte with a PCIe 4 drive, so pretty fast drive, and a much nicer case. So now if we look at what you get if you're willing to spend up to, say, $1,500, you'd use the same. We'd still go with the same Core i5 12400F. We would get a slightly better motherboard, and we jump up to now either a 3070 Ti or a 6800 XT graphics card, and we can go up to 32 gigs of RAM easily. We can go up to a 2 terabyte SSD. The best SSD you can buy right now is the SK Hynix Platinum P41, the fastest, and a nicer case. Finally, if we go to our high-end build, we're going to go with a Core i5 12600K. Again, we don't need to go all the way to a Core i7 or even a Core i9 to get really fantastic performance. We're better off spending that money on the graphics card. So here we'll spend it on a 3080, and using that to drive our gaming performance. If you go to the super high end, where you just don't care how much you're going to spend, you spend still less than a Surface, still less than the Surface Studio. The top of the line gaming processor at this moment, waiting for the new Intels to come out and possibly beat it, is the Ryzen 7 5800X 3D, not the new Ryzen 9 7950X. It's the Ryzen 7 5800X 3D for gaming, because it has so much VCAche, so much cache, so much L3 cache, that makes it really fantastic for gaming, better than even the new CPUs. And there again, we would spend the money on the graphics card, going to a 3090 Ti, or possibly now we have not yet tested the, I think, 1200, and of course the 4090. If you could spend another, is I think $1599, and that's even faster than this. But I think the key element here is you can build a pretty decent gaming PC, $100 and $1,000. Really, I guess if I were building, I'd probably go for somewhere between the 500 and the 1,000 build, and I would, look at, okay, how much, I could actually have a lesser graphics card than this, maybe a 6600, and cut this price to maybe $800 or $850.
And regular viewers and listeners probably know that we literally used your specs to do the gaming PCs for Strike, and people are really, really impressed with them. And we did what you just said. We went between your 500 and your 1,000.
Yeah, I probably put like an 800 on there this week or something.
Yeah,
to price it out, because there's a big difference between 500 and 1,000 build, yeah. Right? You really want, ideally, you really want to have at least a terabyte SSD in a PC if you can. You really want to have, you would like to have an M2 SSD, probably PCIe 4 if you can. It seems though that right now you are definitely getting better for your money, at least in the gaming space, with Intel. Now, if you are doing productivity also, you can get more cores and threads for your money with an AMD 5000 series, which is still a good deal. And you can get a The motherboards are slightly cheaper if you're going for like a B550 motherboard. The thing about the new AMD 7000s is it's not that the chips are so overpriced. I mean, they are quite expensive, but it's the motherboards. The cheapest motherboard that you can buy for the new 7000 series is $290. So you're just going to get killed on the motherboard because they have to use DDR5 RAM and they have to support PCIe 5.
Yeah.
So that those things add to the cost of the motherboard. And so the first line of motherboards that have come out have been super expensive.
Oof. Yeah, that's obviously less than ideal if you're looking to do something budget. But, you know, if you're throwing caution to the wind,
yeah, I mean,
you can certainly hardcore future-proof.
Yes.
And the updated version of
so this is on tomshardware.com right now. It's our best PC builds. And we update it on a frequent basis to help you find the least expensive, the most, you know, make the builds of the most for your money. Obviously, whatever we recommend, you tweak. So if you don't like the mint green case, add some money to the, you know, to your budget and get one that's a little nicer than that. Although I don't know, mint green can be kind of fun, but I bet you it's, you know, it's probably not I'm sure it's not as much fun to build in as like, you know, a nicer case. So you know, you got to figure out where you're going to spend your money if you have a budget. And I would always put that money into the CPU, the GPU, the RAM, and the storage before I put it into the case or into the power supply or into the motherboard.
Well, I'll make the recommendation. There is a Rosewell case available on Newegg for about $50. I think it's 53 most of the time. And it's got LED and all kinds of stuff. It's a really cool case. It's for the extra $6. I know it would have put us over 500.
Yeah. That's the problem when I'm doing these is I'm trying to say that I did it for under 500. Which, by the way, like the next day anything could go offset. You know, could raise the price $1 and break my article. But yes, I mean, I definitely think that folks should spend a few more dollars to get maybe a nicer case. I also think they should spend a few more dollars to get a Radeon 6500 instead of a 6400 because there's a huge performance delta for like $30.
Yeah, for sure. Well, as always, Avram, definitely appreciate it. I always love the updates, and again, I've literally used your structure to go put some PCs together. So thanks again for that. And as always, I look forward to what we talk about next time. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Piltch Point with Avram Piltch. If you did, please subscribe to our channel, and of course hit the notification bell since subscriptions don't mean much on YouTube anymore. And if you've got topics you'd like us to discuss in the future, we'd love to hear from you in the comments below. If you don't want to follow us on YouTube, that's okay. There's a lot of other ways that you can follow our content. You can find all of that by going to plughitslive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows and all the different ways that you can watch, listen, and follow along.